What is up? Welcome to the NBA Rundown, brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. I'm your host, Astaire, joined today by Tyler Hicks and AP. AP always with us on Friday, bringing the heat on the show and bringing the heat map on the site. How are things with you, AP?
Yeah, things are going really well. You know, it almost feels kind of like a Saturday for me because I'm sweating, third round golf right now, and usually that's on Saturday, but they bumped it up. So golf will finish tomorrow on Saturday. The PGA Tour didn't want to compete with the NFL, and rightfully so. So, no, it's a good day. Nice little slate here. Excited to break it down with you guys.
All right. Hey, AP, we got a little bit of feedback there on your mic. Do you want to jump out and just reset that and come back in?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, cool. We'll try that real quick. And then Tyler.
I thought that was my headphones. I was over here playing with them.
No, it was fun. And we were talking before the show. We didn't have any. So great luck there. But anyways, you and I can get started. We did pretty well last night. What did you think of the games last night, huh? Sixers in the under was pretty easy. I was wrong about LeBron sitting, though.
Yeah, I mean, definitely LeBron sitting didn't surprise me much. I just thought he was going to play this game while the other guys would sit this game. I mean, AD had a really good game against Philly, but we've seen big men beat up on Embiid before. Mm-hmm. He's not playing any defense. He's got to do everything on offense, so he can't go out there playing all this great defense too.
You know what's funny is I think he's better on help defense than he is actually one-on-one defense.
Yeah, like him stepping into the box when you're trying to turn and his big ass being there really screws you up. You could beat him off the dribble though.
Yeah, so and that was good. And Davis, is one of the best offensive players in the NBA. So obviously, no shame in him having a big night. But you got to give Philadelphia credit because even in spite of that, they were able to get it done. And a little disappointed to not have LeBron in there. Let us try this again. Check. AP, how we doing?
Yeah, I can switch it if there's still feedback. Just let me know.
Yeah, I got a little bit still. Do you hear it, Tyler?
Yeah, just a very little.
That's so funny. I didn't hear it when we were talking beforehand. So, go ahead and switch that. Tyler and I will get started, and then
can't hear you at all now.
Mother.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
It's clean.
All right,
you're clean. You're good.
All right, Eureka, we found it. All right, AP. After that little bit of delay, hopefully people don't mind because we are here trying to bring you the best information. Let's start with the Detroit Pistons heading to Orlando to take on the Magic. The Pistons have beat the Magic twice so far this season. They will play again here. Cade Cunningham playing excellent of late. I think he had he had 33, 8, and 8, and he's averaging 18 points a game in all of January. So Cade Cunningham playing well. I kind of like the Pistons here. I think they're a little ahead in their rebuild. But let's be fair. They got the number 1 pick and not the number 5 pick, right? And they got a player of really high caliber. I like Detroit to get it done. What are your thoughts, AP?
Yeah, I mean, not really a game I am too high on, obviously, for DFS. Just to give a little insight DFS-wise, if I eliminate this game, it gives me 30 more minutes, on this big slate. And that 30 minutes might be really crucial as far as getting news later on in the slate because we have a ton of news that we're waiting for. But betting-wise, I don't know if I have a ton of interest in these two teams either. Detroit hasn't been as good on the road. The Magic, if Cole Anthony is hitting the shots, you got Suggs there too. Feel like those guys have to be pretty motivated. I'm going to cross this game off. We have many other games, and we'll be able to find some picks. So for me, I'm going to cross it off and move on.
All right, Tyler, what are your thoughts on this one?
I am pretty much in limbo with AP here. Let's ball this game up and throw it away. It's pretty much the Eastern version of our favorite West Coast matchup, OKC versus Houston, but this one's just ugly.
All right, that's fine. I don't think anybody's going to mind, and apologies to the few Pistons or Magic fans that are watching the show. Let's go to a primetime game. The Los Angeles Lakers are playing the Charlotte Hornets. Of course, this will be the first game on ESPN. LeBron James, right? All show yesterday. Oh, he's not going to sit. He's not going to sit out on a 2-game NBA, TNT night. I was wrong. I was surprised LeBron James did not play, and the Lakers could not get it done against the 76ers. AP, I know that you definitely need to study this. Of course, it matters for the betting as well, but Little more up to date on the injury news. Have you heard anything? Are you expecting? I see both LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, all on the injury report. What are your expectations for who's going to play, and how are you approaching this one?
Yeah, I mean, kind of concerning. I was with you last night and thinking that TNT game, he's definitely going to have to play, but he didn't, which is kind of concerning because back to back, he's still questionable. It's looks like a left knee soreness or something, and who knows what it actually is. My concern is just that he's questionable, and because he's not usually a guy that misses. Usually he's probable plays, but he tweeted something out too yesterday, like some angry emoji or whatever. So who knows? We got to keep an eye on the news there. I mean, the Hornets are favored by 8. It looks like, man, imagine if AD, LeBron, and Russ, they all sit. Like, this Lakers team, and no Malik Monk, like this Lakers team would get blown out, in my opinion. They have no one. Their offense looks just terrible. Like it would be Talon Horton-Tucker, Stanley Johnson, Austin Reeves. I mean, man, the Hornets would just pour it on here. So we got to stay off of this game. But I mean, the flip side is too, like, so the Lakers are getting 8. If you think like there's any chance LeBron plays, I would take the 8 points, but you need the LeBron news. The Russ news, to me, I don't care, man. Russ he looks so bad. I'm done with this guy. It's we need LeBron, we need AD, or else it's we got to stay off this game or take the Hornets side. That's kind of where I'm at.
As good as LeBron is as his player, that's how bad he is as a general manager, right? And we've seen this throughout the years as he pulls the strings to add these players to his teams. And it's just so funny. And the players are the same way about Carmelo, too, with Russ. I think when they can individually get beat by a guy, they tend to overrate him. They don't really think about team basketball. They think, God, I don't want to guard Melo. I don't want to guard Russ, right? Because they don't want to be embarrassed on TV. They're not thinking about it from the team concept. I think players tend to overrate the other scorers because they think about defending them and not really everything they do to the game. I don't think they're thinking, I don't want to box out, certain guys that do a lot, like Brandon Clark. Tyler, I'll tell you what, like I said, I really expected him to play yesterday. The fact that he sat makes me think that he's really hurt, right? I mean, I thought he would be getting out there.
I told you why he sat.
Why? To get ready for tonight, to stare down Jordan?
Not even that. Well, part of that, but he's 108 points away from breaking Kareem's record. At the rate he's going, if he played the 76ers game last night, the Hornets game now, there's still 4 games in between that Bucks matchup. You can't tell me he's not breaking that points record against Kareem's old team while he plays for his other team in LA against Milwaukee. That's where he'll break the points record. These guys all look at shit like that.
I do that.
Steph sat on the.
I'll bet you LeBron does, though. I'll give you that. I wouldn't say
Steph had the 3-point record 4 games before he had it.
Yeah.
All of a sudden he started shooting cold, gets to Madison Square Garden, lights it up. These guys want to do it in big places. There's a matchup for it. He's waiting this out. He ain't playing tonight either.
Wow. Okay. I mean, the line indicates that, right? So.
I mean, would you want to play a team that just
that's
regulation?
I mean, this Lakers team needs wins, though. We're at that would be hilarious if that was like part of the reason why. Like, they need wins. I mean, man, that would be wild.
I think he's really hurt, man.
Into it.
I think he's for him to.
I wouldn't be surprised.
All eyes were on that game.
I would not be surprised.
It's such a like he broke Kobe's record in Philly. Like, come on, spread. Like, he does all these things in the cities or against the teams.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see. Let's assume they're all rolled out and the line stays at 8. Would you take Charlotte there, Tyler?
Yes. It would look like Charlotte's last game where they hung 156 in regulation.
Yeah.
What was that? Would that game finish 270 and we didn't get overtime?
Well, on the 158 to whatever game against the Pacers?
Yeah, they hung 158 in regulation.
And that was coming off the 4 of 36 performance against the Raptors, right? When we were cursing them out because we bet on them.
Yeah, so they finally woke back up. LaMelo triple-doubled against his team earlier in the year. His assist prop 7.5. Give me that over, and give me him to get a double-double and win it plus 180.
I like those LaMelo props too because I don't think that you're hurt by the news, right? All right, AP back with
My
us.
bad. What a dog.
No, it's all good. No,
Come
hey,
on, man. Come on, AP.
Did you do the good old click the tab and close it?
Oh, yeah, I did.
I've done that before
Well,
too. We've all been there. So this game really has the potential to upset the slate, though, right, AP? I mean, if everyone plays, right, you can get some mid-range in here. But boy, if those guys sit, right, how would you approach it from a DraftKings perspective?
I mean, AD looked good last night. Like, is he like just that out of shape? Or, the dude was 14 of 21. Like he had, 31-12 night in a tough matchup that hasn't been so tough of late. But now you get a matchup against a Hornets, squad that just, gives out really nice numbers to stretch four types. So I don't know. I don't know why these guys are like always sitting and stuff. AD is pretty soft. I wouldn't be surprised if he sat. But he looked good last night. I think he should play. One of these guys needs to play, or it's just going to be an absolute embarrassment. So I think, man, if LeBron doesn't play, he's actually, there's something going on. I don't know. I think there may, what if you just put a little something on the Lakers? Is there any +8? Because what's this line going to jump to if, let's say, LeBron and AD are in, or even just LeBron? I think LeBron is the guy that really matters here for the Lakers.
Probably there were 3 each. One of them plays, it goes to 5. 2 of them play, it goes to -2.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably sit and wait. But if you think there's any chance that like AD and LeBron play, I would take the 8 points. But very tough to touch. And it's the Lakers. I don't know. I'm not touching it. I can't trust this team at all.
Yeah, I can see that. But I'll tell you what, AP, this game's a great example of why you should be a member of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets, because as this news is fleshed out, right, we can't do it at 3:42 Eastern time, but we're going to have up-to-the-date news. And Tyler might look, right, with these guys either rolled in or out, might have a prop that comes up, 10, 20 minutes before the game. So if you're a member, you're going to get a notification of that in the Discord as he adds it to the spreadsheet. And, of course, AP, you and the rest of the coordinators will be on the DFS side, right, answering questions, because that news is going to change the whole slate, right? It's going to be by far the best value on the board if they all 3 sit, right?
It's going to be Tyler Horton Tucker,
who's at what right now? Let me pull it back up.
You have no Malik Monk. So, what would be Austin Reeves, who just sucks, Tyler Horton Tucker, Dwight, Carmelo Anthony would have to play, 33, 34 plus minutes. So I don't know. Tough. Kent Bazemore would get in there. Sit and wait.
Obviously, none of them guys play. I'd bet this spread up to 13. Because now they're playing the game of going small against a team that's got a way better roster than them. LaMelo would just torch them guys out on the floor.
You would have to play some of the Lakers guys too, because we saw with the Hornets.
4,400 for Anthony. He's getting more than 10 shots.
Yeah.
If they all sit.
Well, so the Hornets, they poured it on Indy the other day, but they weren't playing defense on the way back. They were up by 30. They're just going to sprint up and down. So, really interesting spot. And that's why, we need this news. And I will sacrifice the Detroit-Orlando game and wait it out to make sure we have all the news available. Yeah.
So I think the Discord is going to be wild tonight, especially, as we get the news for that game. So great for all the members. And if you're not a member, head on over to runpuresports.com. Use the promo code GetBets, and you can be in the Discord when we're hashing all this out. And, of course, watch them try. Talk about a good final countdown tonight, right? If that comes out during the show and the way JSU and those guys are going to have to pivot, they're really going to be earning their money tonight. I'm going to say that much. Let's move on to the Boston Celtics, who are +1. They're in Atlanta taking on the Hawks. A total 216.5. The Hawks have won 5 in a row. Celtics have won 7 of their last 10, right? A couple weeks ago, we were pretty down on both these teams. They've turned it both around. Of course, the Hawks traded Cam Reddish, and something that we think is going to be making another move, but maybe it's just putting the team on notice. Hey, nobody's safe. We saw the comments that Travis Schlenk made, kind of calling out the team, but calling on himself by saying, hey, I obviously didn't assemble a very good roster because look what's going on. I kind of like how he did that, right? He called out himself, but he let the team know, right? Like, we're not happy with this. Hawks have been playing better since then. They're going for their 6th win in a row tonight. One other thing the Hawks have done, and AP, wait for the starting lineups, to be sure, but they moved Bogdanovich to the bench, and that's allowed him to do kind of what he was doing in Sacramento, and that's cook against the second-tier players who are so much worse defensively. It makes his ability to create off the dribble so much more. And then, of course, there's a reason those guys are backups. They're not defending the three-point line as well. He had a great night in his first night as the role of six-man. Might be another situation there tonight as he gets more usage with the second unit. I like the Hawks here at home. I know the Celtics are playing better, but I still don't trust this team. It seems there's like a lot of me-first guys where it feels like the Hawks are getting back to being that team they were to end the season last year. I think the total is a pretty good number here. I do like the Hawks games over, but these are two teams that have been playing a slower pace as of late. So my favorite look on here is to take the Hawks -1. What do you think, AP?
Yeah, I'm with you on the Hawks. They're starting to look like kind of that Hawks team a little bit, that we saw last season. I like Bogdan coming off the bench with Gallinari and those guys. Just a stronger second unit, in my opinion. They were all looking good. DeAndre Hunter in there, Kevin Huerter hitting a couple shots, Trae Young looking really good to help stretch the court. So yeah, I like the Hawks here, just at home. I mean, if Tatum and Brown come out and hit a bunch of shots, I do think it puts a lot of pressure on Atlanta. But I'm going to give them the edge since they're at home, and they're just playing pretty nice right now. So it's just one of those spots betting wise where you could see it going either way. So you got to, in my opinion, give the edge here to the home team that's playing really well. Really curious to see where Tyler's at, but I like the Hawks side.
Yeah, what do you think, Tyler?
Yeah, I'd make that 3 on the Hawks. I can't trust the Boston team yet. I agree with AP. If those two come out and beat us, so be it. I don't mind betting their props because when those two guys get hot, they just continue to just keep scoring a ton of points. Like Tatum, 26.5. Wouldn't be surprised to see him put up another 30 ball here. But they could still easily lose this game. And just like you said, Atlanta's playing better team basketball. I think they have a few defenders they can put on them guys and slow them down. Give me Atlanta in the spot.
All right. Yeah, let's check the chat real quick. Andy says Boston plays very well away. I don't know. They're 9-15 on the year straight up. I'm pulling up the ATS numbers right now because that stood out to me as I didn't think they were that good. Okay, so maybe he's talking against the spread. 12-10 here. But I'm assuming they're covering larger spreads than this -1. This seems like I'll pick the winner here. So I think the straight up number comes in a little more here. But hey, like I said, Boston's a really good team, and we will be that surprised tomorrow morning, if that bet loses, right? Because this Boston team has just the highest ceiling, I would say. They're just not playing together right now.
I mean, hey, spread. Both of these teams just destroyed your Kings.
Yeah, I know. Boston did it by what, 53?
Did you see so the Kings, they look good in the first quarter, and then they went to just your most basic zone ever, and the Kings could not do anything. They could not beat it. It was like they're trying to play iso ball against this zone defense that would double on them if they tried to come in the paint, and just man, your Kings need to do something. They need to do something big because that team I mean, they've been going in the wrong direction, but.
Yeah, and I wonder, right, as it seems more obvious, I wonder if the teams negotiating with them are like, these guys got to make a trade no matter what. So, maybe they're playing hardball a little bit. It'll be interesting to see. I hope they just make a move just for the sake of making a move because this obviously –
I hope they do too. Yeah, I hope they do too.
So, yeah, not fun times here. AP, the only good thing to come out of the way the Kings are playing is there's a guy who writes for the local blog site. It's called the Kings Herald. And he's decided he's no longer going to go to a game. He's no longer going to buy any merchandise, but he's going to go ahead and donate $10 to a charity that he designated every time they lose, right? So
there you go.
A bunch of guys have jumped in, right? So off the first loss,
Nice.
right, they got $330. So, we might end up, having a real charitable organization out of this disaster of an organization. From a DFS perspective, What are you thinking here, AP? Hawks second game this season with a clean injury report, unless something changed since I looked that up at like 6 a.m. And Boston Celtics are also fairly healthy too, I'm pretty sure. Two healthy teams with a lot of value on the slate. Am I missing something, or are we passing over this game?
Yeah, I'll be passing over this game. I could see people looking at Bogdanovich, 4-4 coming out that game, but he was going against a team that wasn't playing any defense, and Boston's gonna lock up some of these shooters. So no, I think this is a fine game to move off of. I mean, if you want to play Bob Williams, he's been incredible, but I mean, again, put 52 up, but that was against the Kings. So those are games you cross off and you move on because you don't want to get trapped into playing a guy in a tough spot. So I'll be moving off this game.
All right. Yeah, sounds like a plan. Unless there's something that just shocks the world, which, in the NBA, right? I mean, weirder things have happened. So that's why it's also good to make sure you remember and you're checking out the final countdown. The Los Angeles Clippers plus 6.5 in Miami taking on the Heat. Now, Tyler, the bright spot of our appearance on the live show on Monday night was pulling off that Clippers win, right? And it's I didn't really feel like we were doing it off a handicap or something that we saw. It was almost like, let's just have some fun, right? Taking that team down so much. But they pull off, one of the biggest comeback victories that I've seen in a long time. So you got to give this team credit for fighting here. I think this is a tough matchup against Miami, though. What are your thoughts, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, the more I watch Miami play spread, the more I love them to just win the Eastern Conference. I mean, their team could they could play any way they want. You want to play 3-ball against us? They could throw a couple of 3-point shooters on the floor with Jimmy and Bam, play that game with you. You want them to go defensive heavy? They'll do that. You want them to put 2 bigs on the floor? They'll throw Yurtseven next to Bam. So they could play you any which way they want. I love them this year. I think this is a bad matchup for that Clippers team, especially after the couple games they've just played. I think the Heat blow them out right here spread. I like the -7, and I kind of like the under, too, because I think Miami just locks them down. I don't think they break 90 points here.
Yeah, Miami's not a team that's going to let you come back like the Washington Wizards did. Because let's be honest, to make a comeback like that, you have to be scoring on almost every possession, and Miami's not going to allow that. Now, AP, obviously some concerns, right, with Kyle Lowry, and both Morris twins are out, and KZ Okpala out for the Heat. So not their strongest roster, but Lowry's been out for a little while, right? And they're 4-1 in their last 5 games. How are you approaching this one?
Yeah, I'm with Tyler on this one. The Clippers are another team that they honestly, I thought they were trying to tank, but their second unit has really stepped up. Luke Kennard and Coffee, and man, if those guys beat us, then so be it. But I like the Heat here. Obviously, I'm kind of with Tyler too. Like, I mean, with Brooklyn, like, KD being sidelined, obviously he'll probably be back, but Kyrie uncertain there. Like, man, like the Nets need to be fully healthy, in my opinion, if they want to win the East. I think it's up for grabs. I think the Heat are a very interesting team. You got to think Jimmy probably plays tonight, but he is questionable. So news that we have to monitor. But yeah, I like the Heat side here. Not a game that I really have a ton of interest in, though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a Milwaukee ticket yet this year, but if you're holding one, you got to be worried about the Heat, right? They've had the rivalry. Miami knocked them out, 2 years ago? And then Milwaukee comes back and sweeps them last year. But they added Lowry, right? Potentially Oladipo, who, even if he's not a star anymore, it's another good defensive body to throw out there and just kind of give the Bucks different looks. I think that, yeah, you'd be wild to count out the Heat, from winning the East as long as they stay healthy. So seems like we all like the -6.5 here. Clippers a little shorthanded, AP. Is there any value here, or are we looking to other games?
I will probably be looking for other games. So let me just take a quick peek. I like Terrence Mann at 4K, like he's fine, but again, I guess this is a part of the slate where we should have most of the news. The only other news maybe is the Timberwolves that we're waiting on that could bring about some value. But I mean, Terrence Mann is definitely a fine play. Like, feels pretty safe. It's just a tough matchup. So I would like to avoid this game, but if I fall on a piece like a Luke Kennard or Terrence Mann, I mean, I guess there are worse plays. But I'm not playing Reggie Jackson or Batum at 5'5". I'm definitely not playing those guys.
All right. Let's go to the Trailblazers, -3, taking on the Houston Rockets. Tyler, two of our favorite rookies on the Rockets, of course. Rockets, I think they've lost 9 games in a row at home. And they had a pretty good road trip. I think they went 3-2 on the road trip. Then they fell to the Spurs in their first game back from the road trip. But we talk about that on the show. A lot of times we cap that like a road game because, the fatigue is still there. And a lot of time, these guys, especially the older ones, I mean, this league is so young now, but, they have a lot to do when they get back in town. Maybe not as comfortable as now. They've been home. This is their second game on the road trip. This is where I think the home court really fits in here. Trailblazers, they've actually done pretty well. They're 7-6 in January. They were 7-4 after their last 2 losses. Of course, they got that nice cover against the T-Wolves the other night, and then they get smacked by the Mavericks. Now they head to Houston. AP, what do you think? Trailblazers -3 in Houston.
Yeah, I kind of like the Trailblazers here. I know that I was just looking for it. I know Kevin Porter and Christian Wood both missed shoot-around. So who knows what that means with this team. I mean, Kevin Porter, a guy that left in the middle of a game at halftime and just, went home. Like, who knows if he just wasn't, didn't want to play today or what, or if he's actually sick or something. I mean, you literally never know. And I think their coach is kind of soft. Like, he came out and said, like, oh, good person. He's trying hard. He was just frustrated and left. I don't know. I kind of think that's just BS. Like, it's crazy. But no, I like the Blazers here, even though, like, the Blazers, lost Nasir Little. Huge blow to them. He'd have been playing very well. They're still going to have Simons, McCollum, Powell, Nurkic, and Robert Covington. So a few of their main pieces here. I think they get it done. I think we see a fairly high-scoring game. Jalen Green, DFS-wise, if Porter's out, is a guy that I would look at for value. I'd also look at Jason Tate. He'd be lined up to have a monster game if Christian Wood was out. You could also go to your boy, Sengun, as well. So this game is going to be very good to target for DFS. I have a ton of interest in the Blazers side.
Yeah, and just a note, Robert Covington's questionable. I don't know how that much impacts DFS or betting, though, right? To me, it doesn't really – I'm not even moving him for anything on the line anymore. I know he was added to be a defender. We haven't seen it this year. And his on-ball defense is really poor. And I feel like his team defense, which is what he's brought in for, it used to be elite. Now it's like average. So, I mean, he's questionable if he misses. I don't really think it changes much. And his usage is so low, it doesn't change anything for DFS as well, right, AP?
Yeah, right. I think, honestly, I'm looking at it. So Simons and McCollum, like, both guys that are going to be able to get whatever they want. They're going to be able to get anything mid-range, anything from deep. They're going to be able to get to the rim. Like Christian Wood, it's not like he's been like that good of a rim protector. I mean, they just seem overall lazy on defense. So I think Simons, McCollum, you can play them together. I think you play Norm Powell. I think Nurkic could absolutely feast. Like, the thing about Nurkic is, like, he'll go, like, just looking at fantasy points, he'll put up 33. He'll put up 33. He'll have a 43 game. And then, bam, he'll have like a 67 DK point game. So this is one of those spots where he could have that massive, massive game with a bunch of steals, blocks, and a ton of rebounds and a ton of made shots.
Tyler, what are your thoughts on this one? AP and I talked a lot. It didn't sound like either of us really had a side, though. I know I didn't. This wasn't my favorite game to get involved with.
Give me Portland. Houston doesn't play any defense. They've got most of their guys back. Now they're pretty healthy. So you said Covington doesn't mean much. I don't think Dennis Smith Jr. means much. Simons is going to eat this backcourt up, and so is McCollum. Houston doesn't play any defense, Fred. Portland's bouncing back right here. They're winning this game by about 10.
All right. I'm glad someone took a stand here.
Give me Simons over 19.5 points. He's going to torch his team.
Love it.
Yeah, I like that prop as well. Let's go on to the Utah Jazz at the Memphis Grizzlies. Boy, the Grizzlies have taken a lot of money. Did we get news on Donovan Mitchell? Is this
They're both still out.
They're out? Is Donovan Mitchell out for sure? Because he was probable at one point today.
Yeah, he's out.
Okay, so that's why the line's 4.5 now. It's not just a market move. You could get -1 right when it opened. That got hammered, moved to 2. And I guess because it was 2 when I checked, really early this morning. Now I see this 4.5. That has to be on the Mitchell news. I mean, I loved it at 1. I loved it at 2. Still thought it was pretty good at 4. It's the only side I want to be on at 4.5, but obviously some of that value is gone. Still, man, this is a Utah team that if you want to point to how valuable Rudy Gobert is, you look at how they've performed without him in the lineup. They're 1-6 without him in the lineup. Their defensive rating without him in the lineup is 121. It drops to 108, right? So he's 13 points different on defensive rating. That's how much he means to this team. And if you just watch the games, it makes sense. These guys aren't that good on the perimeter. They just let Gobert bail them out a lot, right? Because it's like, yeah, even if you beat me to the right, just Rudy tells them what side they want him to go to. They let him get beat to that side, and then Rudy goes ahead and makes the contest. So without him there, right, a lot of their defensive deficiencies are exposed. I still like Memphis at 4.5. What are your thoughts, AP?
Yeah, I like Memphis here too. While the Jazz right now, they're really struggling without their main guys, Gobert and Donovan Mitchell. While I think they could put up a fight and keep this one close, I think ultimately the Grizzlies, just John Morant is doing way too much right now. The guy is just, man, how fun is it to watch this guy play? But DFS wise, I think the significance of that is if the Jazz keep this close, it means John Morant's going to play 37, 38 minutes. And I think people are going to look at that 10K price tag and they're going to look match up against, Mike Conley or, whatever. Like, we're not worried about Mike Conley, I guess, in my opinion, but they're going to look at the matchup here and maybe move off of a guy like John Morant. Well, I think it's like a phenomenal spot again. I think Morant's going to come out, put this team on his shoulders. He's going to take 28, 30 shots, and he's going to make a ton of them. So I think John Morant is lined up to have another really big night tonight, and that's where I'm going DFS-wise. I love Ja. I think Desmond Bane, if he can do even 3/4 of what Devin Booker did over the last 2 games against this Jazz team, Desmond Bane is set up to have just a monster game. So, and yeah, Devin Booker has just been incredible. I was surprised that the likes of Andrew Wiggins was picked over a bunch of different people, but I thought Dev should have made no.
That's because all the Canadians voted for him. That's the thing. Is that's what I read. I read because of the online voting. But hey,
that makes sense.
Tyler, AP's breakdown brought me back to a couple of things that we talked about yesterday with this team. John Morant, right? JSU's got him like an MVP category, right? He thinks he's playing that well, and neither of us really disagreed. And then remember we were talking about Kemba Walker, right? And I was saying, boy, it's too bad that people are seeing him now because he was so good in Charlotte, and now he finally gets on the big stage, and you're not seeing him. For Kemba, it's for injuries. I think the same way about Mike Conley, and I think it's just because of age, right? Like you can't be as quick as you used to be as a point guard. If you watched him in Memphis, right? But they didn't get a lot of attention back then. He was so good. Yeah, now we're kind of looking at this washed dude. Yeah, right. I mean, now he looks kind of washed out there, right? Especially on defense. He's still like the OG on offense, and I'm fine with him on that end of the floor. He can be attacked defensively. Just AP's breakdown maybe thought of that. I like Memphis here. What are your thoughts here, Tyler?
Yeah, give me Memphis at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever you can get. Utah doesn't stand a chance here. They're not going to be able to protect the rim. We talked about this with spots before where Josh is going to eat at the rim. We said it in the Spurs game spread. He went for 40 points.
Yeah.
He played the Jazz earlier this year. He shot 9 for 30. Mm-hmm. Still managed to put up 32 points with Gobert covering the rim. John Morant, 40-plus points, and they win the game tonight plus 1,000.
All right, give me the 30, though.
There is no 30. It's either
is there 35?
Yeah.
Wow. For me, I was like the 30-plus and win, which was to me like I was going to think that was the best bet of the day.
So one last comment, DFS-wise. It looks like Hassan Whiteside, and these are early ownership projections and will most likely change, but it looks like he might get some ownership. Like I was kind of surprised at the numbers I was seeing. I would be very concerned. I think they're going to attack him. Like Whiteside is like, man, he's, arguably dust compared to Gobert. So I think they're going to attack him inside and get him into foul trouble, and then get him out of the game, and then it's going to be more easy buckets for Ja in the paint. So I'd be very concerned about playing Whiteside here.
You know, we talk so much about how DFS and betting is correlated. I'd say Hassan Whiteside is like the argument like against the correlation, right? Because I think he could be a pretty good play in DFS tonight. But when I'm handicapping that, I downgrade the Jazz so much for him being out there compared to Gobert, where he might put up like similar numbers to a Rudy night, you know, but it's just so much of the impact because there's no stat for him rotating late. There's no stat for him just not, you know, picking up the switch, but those things happen so much. So yeah, this should be a fun one. It sounds like we all like Memphis. Tyler, I can't believe they took the 30+ away from us. I mean, oh man, I was already thinking that. Richie Smalls with the great comment. Thank you, Richie. Always reminding me because I forget to let that one out. But hit the like, subscribe to the channel. We're here Monday through Friday, 3:30 Eastern, breaking down the NBA card just for you guys. The Indiana Pacers -1 in Oklahoma City, taking on the Thunder. Total of 220. Tyler, what do we do, man? I can't bet on the Pacers, but are we really going to bet on the Thunder? How are you approaching this, Tyler?
Hey, the first time I bet on the Thunder, and it won't be the last. Give me the Thunder.
All right.
I mean, no big man under the hoop to beat him. SGA is just going to torch his team right here. His points plus assist prop is the one I'm going to target in this game. 31.5. The dude could get 31 points. Then we ain't even got to worry about the assists. So I like that number. I think they win the game. Give me OKC to win the game here.
All right. Tyler likes OKC. What do you think, AP? And have they adjusted to the Pacers on the price tag with all these guys being out?
Yeah, I actually love OKC here. I mean, they've been playing teams relatively tough, not getting win. I mean, they have like 6 losses in a row, but they're all against good teams. Twice against the Cavs, the Bulls. They had to play the Hornets, the Spurs, and the Mavericks. So, I mean, yeah, I think this is a winnable spot for the Thunder. And if it's still even or like, you know, I would take them. Let me pull it up. Yeah, they're getting 1. Okay, yeah. I love OKC here. I think it's a phenomenal bet. I think they win outright. Shea, I agree with Tyler there. He's going to have a big night. And it's just their rotational guys are what's hurting them. Aaron Wiggins can show up at times, and then he can be bad. They got to figure out what they're going to do with Baisley, Ty Jerome, Trey Mann, their rookie. They got to figure out what they're going to do with some of these guys. But once they figure that out, they'll be a team that still sucks, but they will get the occasional win.
All right. Well, you guys don't have to twist my arm to get me to fade the Pacers. I mean, this team has just been quite the disappointment.
Well, I got a question for you guys, though. Karis LeVert, and I am honestly just going to be off of him tonight because I don't trust Rick Carlisle. But, man, he's been he's been very hurtful. You would think that, with all their other main guys out, that he would, be in there doing his thing, but he just hasn't. I guess my one last comment too is if Sabonis plays, and if he has no restrictions, you could definitely play him. He would be capable of putting up a big number here against the Thunder.
Yeah, with LeVert, man, I almost think it's like the Kings. I think there's just a lot of fatigue on being in an organization that's not being well run, and a team that has talent, but the pieces don't fit. It's just. For the amount you can get if you sell these guys off.
Imagine being KD and Kyrie's running partner, and then you got to go be Malcolm Brogdon's running partner. You're not going to be happy about that.
Yeah, so we'll see if LeVert turns it around, but I'm not counting on it. The Denver Nuggets are -4.5 against the Pelicans. The Pelicans have won, I'm trying to think, 3 or 4 in a row at home and 7 or 8 of their last 10. So they've been good at home, but they've been really bad on the road. Their most recent game was 117-107 against the Sixers, right? Remember, we broke that down on Tuesday, Tyler, and it looked like Mangone was going to be right? Because he said, don't take the Pelicans, take the Pelicans, don't trust the Sixers. They won't keep a lead, and don't be upset when your CLV doesn't get there. But most of the Sixers tickets cashed. I don't know how to approach this one. I mean, the Pelicans have been good at home. The Nuggets have the MVP. They've been playing good basketball as of late, too. I don't like laying 4.5 on the road on a Friday night, though. What are your thoughts, AP?
You're on mute.
Man, rough one. I like the Nuggets here. Nuggets here. I don't trust this Pelicans team. They still got a few guys who are questionable. Maybe my opinion would change slightly if Josh Hart and Ingram were both in, but both are questionable. If those guys both get ruled, like here's the thing with taking the Nuggets. I think if those guys are in, I think the Nuggets could still cover. If those guys both get ruled out, I think the Nuggets just smash here. So I think Jokic does his thing. I'm definitely on the Nuggets side of this game. And then DFS wise, let me just pull up the sheet. I mean, you can always play Jokic. His price is just getting outrageous. He's 12-6 on DraftKings. He's gonna have to need a monster number, or the other way that he would become very playable is if we go back to that Lakers game. If LeBron, AD, and Russ all got ruled out, you would have some, free square type plays that would be very cheap that would allow you to play in Jokic, which would make, if Jokic gets you 60, 63, you could win with that number, even though he has a high price tag, because you have all of that value. So the other guy I'm looking at, I like to play opposing guards against this Pelicans team. I'd be looking at Will Barton. He's coming off a nice game too. He's priced still at 5.5 on DraftKings. I think this could be a great spot for him to have another nice one against the Pelicans.
All right, Tyler. I was a little hesitant, but AP said take the Nuggets. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to stay away from this one. I don't trust this Nuggets team to win. If Ingram and Joe Val weren't on that injury report as questionable, same thing with Josh Hart, I'd be all over the Pelicans here. But those three guys sit, you really don't have a chance. But I just don't trust Denver to get the job done on the road. I mean, we've seen them toy with their food, basically. They let the Pistons hang around for most of the game. They let other teams hang around. They've lost games where they let them hang around. Remember that Clippers game where they blew it in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, because I was on Denver. Of course I remember it.
Yeah, so wouldn't surprise me to see them drop this game. Just a weird game, so I'm just going to stay away from it.
All right, yeah, and that's fine. On a huge slate like tonight, there's no reason to force any plays. Hey, let's be honest, no reason to force any plays whenever, but especially tonight where we're going to have plenty of going on. I'll have the 3 screens going, taking notes the old way with the notebook. Chicago Bulls plus 1.5 against the Spurs. Total 231.5. So this is the highest total on the board. And let's, the Chicago Bulls are missing their 2 best defenders, right? They're kind of looking like last year's team, but the difference is they have DeMar DeRozan to steady the ship towards the end of the game. DeRozan will be making his return to San Antonio, where he played the last 3 years, was a leading scorer 2 out of those 3 years for the Spurs. DeRozan's homecoming, AP, how do we approach it?
Yeah, I like the overs in this one, over that big 230 number. I think you said it best, the Bulls being without 2 of their better defenders. We're going to get buckets on both sides. Like, I think Levine, DeRozan are going to get whatever they want. I think Vucevic is going to have a nice game. And then, DeJounte Murray is just going to do what he has been doing. He's been incredible all season long. So, like, the tough part for me tonight is John Morant or DeJounte Murray, because I think both guys, they're priced basically the exact same, and both guys are phenomenal plays. So I'll probably have a little bit of both, but because it might be hard to get both of those guys in, plus an Anthony Simons or CJ McCollum. But yeah, I think this game is going to be great. I think these Bulls guys continue to be lower owned, but individually they're capable of putting up big numbers. And it seems like the numbers that they put up on a night to night basis, like Levine coming off a 48, 46, they're not going to kill you either at these price tags. So I think the Bulls here, their 3 main guys are all fine plays DFS wise. And it doesn't look like that they get a ton of ownership as well. So if you want to get a little contrarian, you could just stack all the studs up in this game. And the way that you make it work, we go back to the Lakers game. If all those guys get ruled out, or the Timberwolves, which we'll talk about, because I saw a bunch of guys just pop up on the injury report. If we get a spot where we have some free value, like you could run a stack like that, and it could definitely work. So I'm as we break this down and as more news comes out, I'm really excited about this slate. I'm just telling you, Friday night, like, if you're not able to adjust your builds, probably take the night off. Go
Yeah.
have fun, go have some
For
drinks,
sure. Yeah.
because I'm going to be here and I'm going to be adjusting, and
Yeah.
making some money off of it.
Well, hopefully you have a happy compromise and you adjust with a little whiskey right next to your.
Always,
screen.
of course,
All
of course.
Tyler, AP and I both expect a high-scoring game. You know what that means? It could be some opportunities for props. The first name that came to my mind is DeJounte Murray. How are you approaching this one, Tyler?
I mean, how's that going to be the first name that comes to your name in this matchup spread? I mean, they're giving DeMar DeRozan his revenge tour. He played Toronto last. Now he's going to go play the Spurs here. It's like, what's next? They just instantly schedule a LeBron game next up. That's his only revenge tour left. So
I feel like even though it's not Tuesday, we have Travis Mangone on the show, Tyler, with that breakdown.
Yeah, so I like the Chicago side a bit here. I think they get the job done. I think they have 2 of the 3 best players on the floor outside of Murray.
Mm-hmm.
So I like them here. I like your guys' look on the over. No one's playing defense in this game. And I could see Levine hanging a big number here. We can get him 25-plus points, and Chicago wins at plus 300.
Okay.
And being a dog.
Can you at least look at the DeJounte Murrays for me?
Yeah, DeJounte Murray.
He's going to have a huge night, I believe.
All right, so DeJounte Murray, double and win Spurs, plus 186. 20 points and win, plus 235.
What about just 25 over, or just 30 over on a points prop?
Just over 25 is plus 200, over 30 plus 560.
Just DeJounte Murray over 30 points. They don't have to win.
Yep. Yeah, they could.
I kind of like that look. Maybe split a unit there. Any other looks for this one, Tyler?
Nope, that's it for me in this one. Just the Levine one and maybe a DeRozan if you can get the 25 plus.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing a 30 plus, and I'm not sure he's going to get the 30. I'd rather trust Levine to get the 25.
All right. Well, I appreciate that breakdown, and I'm sure that Travis does as well. AP, we've hinted towards it a lot during the show, but we're here. That Minnesota Timberwolves game with so much news. Hey, they were plus 9 before a lot of these came out. I don't know what that says, but the line hasn't moved. I assumed it goes to 10 or 11, maybe 12 if they're missing some players. Maybe they expect them to play. Phoenix Suns are minus 9 here. Total 230.5. So pretty high total here as well. That Timberwolves team looked tired last night, man. I had the plus 6. I felt pretty happy about it. And boy, that, is the old school Warriors in that third quarter, and they put it on them. And then I thought, well, the Timberwolves can still make a run, right? Because they have such an explosive offense. But they looked worn out in the fourth. I think the road trip is catching up to them. And they do kind of play a high pace style, right? So, it's not like Miami when they bang a lot of games in there. It's a little tougher, I think, here on these young Timberwolves here. So obviously, I think it becomes a wait for the news game as far as me, especially on the side, because boy, if these guys sit, I'm going to love Phoenix. But why don't you break it down how you're approaching it from a DFS perspective? Because we might not have the news until after lock, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. We might not. I think I like the Suns here. I think this is going to be like Devin Booker's looked incredible. Like he's looked so good. He's come out. I think like the last 2 first quarters, he scored like 20 or more points, both against Utah. Like he just came out firing. Like it was just really incredible. And he just looks super motivated in the zone. I think that continues here tonight. And he's got a little extra narrative, which I think he feels he got snubbed a little bit from not being a starter. So we saw what he did last year? One of the years when he got snubbed, I think, from the All-Star completely. He came out and put up 50 real points. So he's definitely a guy that's going to come out firing. And I like what you said. So the Timberwolves on a back-to-back, I think on a 3 and 4 also. And haven't they played? This will be 5 and 7. So
the fatigue spot's terrible. Even if everyone plays, it's almost better if everyone plays because you're not going to have to pay the extra tax, or you just bet it now.
I think this is a game where on the Wolves side, even if they play, I think we see maybe more Malik Beasley. We've seen them extend their second unit guys. And what that means is it makes the Timberwolves side way more risky. So I'm not as interested in them. I have a ton of interest in Devin Booker, but he's 9'9". This is the tough part. Do I play him over Ja Morant, over DeJounte Murray, guys that they have more peripheral upside than him? So a very tough spot, but I do think Devin Booker is fully in play. I think he's going to have a big night tonight. I think Cam Johnson is a good value. I think Biyombo is going to have to play good minutes here. Against Towns, I think we could see some Jalen Smith off the bench. Really good spot DFS wise. I think these Suns guys are priced to a point, which is going to keep ownership down a little bit, but it's going to put these guys in play.
All right, and for those watching, or listening, right, in the car or at work, right, and you're not able to keep up with the chat. I got to go over this quick little exchange. Me and Nadesify. Nadesify says I have 4 screens rocking, right, and I said, hey, I dropped down to 3 screens because 4 is a lot for the NBA. But like, a very smart Run Pure Sports member, he says, I put the Discord chat up on the 4th. So I think that's how you approach it, especially with the extra screens, man. Sometimes it's so hard to keep up with more than 2 or 3 games. Baseball and football, you can do it. Basketball and tennis, it was really tough for me. I started to feel it was negative EV because I was getting too distracted and not really able to focus in on certain games. Tyler here. We've kind of said we like Phoenix. I know that you're higher on Phoenix than I think most of the panel here. So I'm thinking you got to be in agreement with us here, right?
Yeah, I mean, perfect spot in the fatigue spot too. Wouldn't be surprised to see Minnesota hang around till about halftime, and then just like last night, they died in the third quarter. Mm-hmm. Give me Phoenix here, spread. Chris Paul, Devin Booker, they're just going to torch his team. Just like AP said, when he was snubbed before, he came out, put up a big game. Him to score 30 plus and wins plus 200, I'll be all over that in this spot.
Oh, that's a great bet. That is I'm gonna hop on that with you. So yeah, I love that.
All right, let's go to the last game, AP, and then I'm gonna grab a couple questions from the chat just because they were about different games than we were talking about when we received them. But we'll answer the little DFS questions you guys have been throwing in the chat. But before that, we are going to talk about the Knicks catching 9 points in Milwaukee on a total of 217. Tyler, this is your favorite team, the Knicks. We talked about them yesterday saying, hey, maybe the limitations of this roster have been revealed. Maybe it's time to blow things up. Maybe, we think we all agree they kind of overachieved for the talent of the roster that they had last season. Now they're catching 9 against a Milwaukee team that you got to think is going to be upset. They had won 3 in a row. We liked them against the Cavaliers, and they lost, and they spoke about, gave Cleveland a lot of props. But I got to think they got to come out motivated after that loss, which I don't think, the team, or I know that we didn't expect either. How are you approaching the Knicks and the Bucks, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the Bucks here. I think they smash them. I think they just lock in on defense. Holiday's going to stop any guard play they have. They really don't have an answer under the hoop for Giannis either. Like Mitchell Robinson isn't stopping them. Julius Randle isn't. Mm-hmm. This team could easily just run these Knicks right off the floor. Give me Milwaukee here to run New York right off the floor. I just don't trust New York to keep up. Milwaukee starts hitting threes. Good luck. This game's just going to open up. It's going to get ugly.
Yeah, and this is fun, right? Because for the most part, we don't often advise that you're laying these big spreads, these -9s, right? But we're identifying great situational spots, like we talked about the fatigue from Minnesota. And not only did reading the schedule show it, watching the tape showed that last night. Same thing with the Knicks, man. This has been kind of a grueling road trip, right? And they haven't been playing that well. Like they lost 110-96 to the Hawks. They were down by 30 for a lot of that game, right? It's just the fact that Tibbs leaves the starters in at the end that allows them to make it look somewhat respectable. But let's be honest, that game wasn't competitive. Great situational spot. Milwaukee should be looking for revenge. AP, how are you approaching this one?
I'm right there with Tyler. Like I think the Bucks absolutely smash them. I don't know why this game is like a 10 p.m. Eastern hammer. Like it makes no sense to me. But I like the Bucks. I like the Bucks here. I think they get it done easily. This Knicks team. Sorry, Tyler, but gosh, they've been really tough to watch of late. And you take advantage of that by hammering the Bucks. And it's a big spread, but I think they get it done. I'm 100% with you guys. In DFS, I already have this game on there full fade. So I would like Giannis. I tag him. GPP fine because it's Giannis. Like he's a guy always capable of breaking a slate. So like I don't want if someone has a read on Giannis, I don't really want to talk him off of that because he could have a monster number here. I'm not going to be playing him though.
Okay. Before we do the build and the best bets, let's just go through the chat because some of these were coming up on my screen after we had moved on from the game. So we'll just move them appropriately. The first one's from Sammy. It was at the beginning, but we had already moved on. Tyler, Bridges double-double and the Hornets win. What do you think of that as a player performance double?
I don't hate it, but I'd rather play the mellow ball as double-double and win. I think he has 2 different paths to that double-double to where Bridges only has 1.
All right. This one's for you, AP. James Booknight on the Hornets tonight. Thoughts?
Let's see. I think what we need is if Kelly Oubre's out, then yeah, I would have a little bit of interest in that. But the one thing that you got to keep an eye on is the Lakers news and if better value becomes available. As it stands right now, if Oubre's out, yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with him.
All right, and I'll take this one. Do we know why the Pistons are underdogs when they're playing so well? This is only the second game this season where the Magic are favorites. My guess is that the books are not using very much last 5 in their results. They're just running the numbers from the season. Number 2, there's probably not going to be a huge handle on this game. Right? We were really quick to throw it out. I'm sure a lot of handicappers are as well. So my guess is, going off point differential, they're pretty close, and they just, adjusted for the home court for the Magic. Not to mention the point differential for the Pistons is absolutely terrible on the road. So their overall point differential looks pretty good, but it's so skewed, their home road split. So that would be my guess, is that the books just threw them up as even teams, gave the Magic the home court advantage, didn't expect much money, and just called it a game. He says the Magic lost the last game to the Pistons too. Yeah, I tried to bring that up in our thing because sometimes I do think that matters. I mean, this is just a fun comment, but tons of news on injuries. Yes, that's true. Sammy's with us on the Miami East winners. And let's go. Yeah, hit the like and subscribe. Thanks, Rich. You said it once, but we will know more to do it again. What do you think of this parlay, Tyler? Bulls, Celtics, Jazz, and Nuggets.
I don't trust the Jazz.
Okay.
I'm not trusting the Jazz. Half their lineup's going to look like us 3 on the panel.
Yeah, I think I'm opposite on half those. I don't like the Celtics either.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're that's what I was going to say. We're on Atlanta.
Yeah. This one's for you, AP. Will Matthew for Houston get minutes tonight over Şengün?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Garrison Matthews.
Yeah.
I was like, Will Matthew? Who's that?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, I read that wrong. Okay.
No, I read it wrong too. I mean, I don't think Garrison Matthews is in play. That's how I'd say it.
Okay. Yeah,
I'd play
the answer. That's
what Jalen Green if some of those guys are out. Like starter guy they're trying to develop. Yeah.
All right. May not be the answer you like, but we'll give you the answer here. And Nadesify says, why didn't you talk about Podol?
Yeah,
the dude is smashing.
I like Bertle. Yeah, he's going to be a phenomenal player. I don't know what DraftKings is doing. He's still too cheap. So sign me up for him.
All right. And Dirty Canadian wants to know, what do you think about ownership for Giannis?
Very low.
Okay.
No one's playing him tonight. All right. So hold on, bring that comment back up. Like, why is Giannis going to be high owned on this slate? Worst matchup on the board. Like the Knicks are playing at the slowest pace in the league. Everyone is healthy on the Bucks. So we talk about it all the time. When a starting player's out, that usage translates in 2 ways. It goes to the other player, coming up who's playing, or it goes to other players on the court. We have spots on tonight, John Morant. We talked about DeJounte Murray. We talked about Simons and CJ McCollum. All of these other guys, Devin Booker, all of them are going to take ownership away from Giannis. So, and Giannis is priced way up. I don't think he's going to be very high owned at all. So that's why I said if you have a read on him and if you want to play him, you can. I just don't think it's the spot to against a Knicks team that's playing really slow. And I think this game's going to be over by the third quarter.
All right. That is it for the questions. Thank you, everybody in the chat, for making the show better. Sometimes we miss stuff, especially with Podol, right? And then you guys pop it up. And then the people listening and not reading the chat get a chance to do it as well. Because I know I like to, when I watch your guys' show, the Hardwood, right? I like to drive around. That's when I do my errands, right? So I'm not always reading the chat, even though I am listening to you guys. AP, we like to do a build. I think that's going to be tough today, but let's go for it because obviously the Lakers news pretty much affects everything, wouldn't you say?
I already got Tyler's play. He already brought it. If I could pick Tyler's play for him, I mean, he picked it, so I want to make sure he has credit for it. But we'll see if he agrees with this. Gilgeous-Alexander. I think he is. No one's going to. He's right in that range where John Morant, Simons, McCollum, those guys are all at. So people are going to move off of him. But if you just look at what LaMelo Ball and company did against this Pacers team, like they're playing no defense right now. Shea is just going to absolutely feast, and he's playing good basketball right now. So, Tyler, what do you think about that? Can he be our first man in?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I like it. You look at his recent stats, 31 points, 10 rebounds, 3 steals, 10 assists, 29 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, 29 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. I'll gladly jump on him and put him in my DFS lineup against this weak Indiana team.
All right.
Who are you picking, Fred?
So, yeah, well, here, I'm going to let you go ahead. You can, veto this if you want. The guy I was looking at here is Malik Beasley at 3,800.
I like it.
Even if he doesn't get there, it doesn't completely sink my chances to cash in a GPP. But, I'm assuming that those guys are either not going to play all together, in which case there would be a lot of people on Beasley. But even if they play, we talked about it, there could be a good chance that they play less minutes than usual, right? At 29 minutes for Cat, only 31 for Russell, only 30 for Ant, right? Which is going to give him more opportunities. I kind of like him here at 3,800 because, like I said, even if he doesn't go off, it doesn't sink my chances.
No, I like that. The other thing that it allows you to do is if more news opens up, so that game is 9 Eastern. If the news opens up, then you could pivot to like one of these Laker guys or someone else. Right. You haven't used up a roster spot. Let's stay in that same game, though, and let's go Devin Booker. Okay. So we got 3 guards, but I think that's fine. Devin Booker I want to play the snub narrative. He's playing good basketball right now. I think they're just going to feed him, and I think he's just going to torch this team. And just from going off some of the comments from their coach, I think they let him, get a little extra run, too, if he's cooking. Like, if he has a shot, like if it's, let's just say the game's over, but he's at like 42 points, 43 points, don't you think they just like let him, stay in there a little longer to see if he can't get a 50 piece up?
And kind of,
I definitely do.
Throw the middle finger to the people who didn't vote him in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And just,
I like that a lot.
Like 30-point win where they let him run. So Devin Booker for sure.
All right, and I'll let you do our last one as well. Who do you want to put in here at the end? And remember, guys, this is subject to change with so much news still being for us to find out.
Let's go. We need a value piece. There's going to be value that opens up. So, but the one I do feel somewhat comfortable with is Carmelo Anthony, 4-4. No matter what, even if all of them play, like I think he's going to get 24 minutes. But if we get AD ruled out, if we get LeBron ruled out, they don't have any dudes, and they don't want to get fully embarrassed. So Carmelo would have to get in there. There's probably going to be better value that opens up, but I'm not seeing any like surefire value bets yet.
All right. Well, they say in life, timing is everything. Our guy Gregory Russo with the timing. The guy just wants to hear the best bets, and he tuned in just his time. Because Greg, you're right. It is time for the best bets. AP, we gave out the DK court. Let's give them some bets to make on the bet side. What do you like today? Side total or prop? What is your favorite one?
I'm going to go total, and I'm going to go over in the Bulls Spurs game. I think we see a lot of points there. And just because we didn't pick any plays from there does not mean I'm not playing that game. It's a multi-entry type night for me. I'm going to have a bunch of different stacks I'm running, and this is one game that I'll have stacked up. I mean, if you have this game stacked up and happens to be one that goes to OT or something like that, you're going to want exposure to it in DFS for sure.
All right. Like I said, a great timing for Greg Russo because he gets to hear your best bet, Tyler. What's your best bet for the day?
Yeah, for the side, I'm going to roll with that Memphis side. I think they just blow this Jazz team out. And then for the prop, give me that SGA over 31.5 points plus assist. I think he could easily hit that number with just points alone. He gets us double-digit assists there. I think we're golden. So I love that play.
All right. Tyler, help me here because I'm going to take a prop today because I would have taken Memphis if you didn't. I want to take DeJounte Murray. Do I do it at 25 and play it safe, or should I give out 30+?
You can do both. 25 and then half
All
unit
right,
on the
and we'll
30.
go half unit on each. And what were the numbers there? You gave me like a +2 something for the
Plus 200
25?
and plus 60.
All right, let's go ahead and do that. I like DeJounte Murray. We're going to split our unit, a half unit on the 25 plus over and a half unit on the.
Do we want to try our
30
37 to 1? I mean, this is the crew that started it.
Of course we do.
Oh, yeah.
Let's hear it, Tyler. What do you got?
All right, so I'm going to swap that one out. We're going to go Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 25 plus points and OKC wins.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go Devin Booker, 30 plus points, and they win. And we're going to go LaMelo Ball, double-double, and Charlotte wins. That gets you 22 to 1.
Yeah, and if you're feeling froggy,
like
add
it.
in a John Morant player performance
Yeah.
double too. So, all right, AP, we did it. Great show today. Boy, we navigated some early issues, but we were able to give out over an hour
We did.
of quality information, man. I'm really happy about everything we were able to do. Went smooth, and I think, what a great primer to start your day. Of course, people are going to be having to react to the news, but I think a lot of the information you give is going to help them with the pivots, right, and how you're going to approach it. So a great job today, and it's a big weekend in the sports world. The Australian Open finishes this weekend, NFL Conference Championship weekend. The golf is going right now. We have so much going on. Why don't you let everyone know what the plan is for Run Pure Sports this weekend?
Yeah, we got NBA through the weekend, Showdown golf, which has been a ton of fun out there at the Farmers. Nice little edge with the bumpy POA that gets a little bit more difficult throughout the day. So we're talking about that in the chat. We got UFC, Wimbledon is getting, or not Wimbledon. I always keep saying Wimbledon, Brett. Australia. The Australian Open, and then we got a big Sunday slate with 2 games left. AFC, NFC Championship, going to be a ton of fun. Chiefs, Bengals, and real quick with that game. I mean, who are you guys on for Chiefs, Bengals, and then Rams, Rams-Niners?
Well, you're going to find out in about 10 minutes. Do you want to spill the beans,
Tyler,
Tyler, or do you want to save it?
I mean,
you guys
I'm just holding pat. I got to stick with what we gave out in the beginning. Spread San Fran, Cincinnati, Super Bowl, 100 to 1.
All right.
John Madden's first ever called Super Bowl. The guy passes away. Here's his tribute to him. Here's your first Super Bowl you ever called, buddy.
Wow. Yeah, AP's not going to like that.
Yeah. No, we'll leave it with that, though.
All right. Yeah.
I don't want to ruin it. I mean, 100 to 1.
Plot twist. I'm fired after this show for picking against the Chiefs.
No, never. Never.
All right. Well, the reason I didn't want is Tyler and I will be recording it and we'll be live, right? But we expect that most everybody here will be watching the Hardwood Live show. But guys, it'll be on your feed. You can check it out this evening. I like to do a lot on Saturday mornings, so I'll probably be listening to a lot of my podcasts then. But just so you know, it will be up. And if you do catch it late, because I know a lot of people do, I check the view count. So I appreciate you guys checking out. Just give a like and a subscribe to that late video. And, of course, this one as well. As we wrap things up for the week, it's been quite the week for the NBA Rundown. We hope to continue the success tonight and next week. Remember, we're here every day at 3:30 Eastern. Like the video, subscribe to the channel.